Noises. All kinds of noises. Okay. So, bring the mic into shot because we are using a mic. For a brief shining moment, it looks like somebody was watching, but they may not be. That's hard to tell. It's the New Year's Day show. Why? Because I've committed to doing it. It's become kind of a thing that I do, and quite frankly, I'm happy to do it. If I wasn't happy to do it, I would not be doing it. But I am doing it. So here I am. And doing it I shall be. Oh, how do we explain this day? Oh, well, of course we have the traditional amateur munitions experts outside the house on either side of our residence, setting off firecrackers left, right, front, and center, causing loud explosions and big noises, and reminding us that it is definitely a good idea to soundproof your home, if you have one, as much as possible. I think for this, it's going to be spray in insulation and some soundproof windows pretty soon. My hair is a complete disaster area, but I'll tell you why that is. You see, we started this morning with the sound of feline distress, and if you own a cat or are owned by a cat, you probably have a pretty good idea what that sounds like. This was not, however, the usual, well, just watch where you step sounds of feline distress. Our 10-year-old fluffball Delilah, whom you have seen, resting on that bench over there and getting up and walking away when I start making a lot of noise, was making really unhappy noises. And so I took her, I should say, to the vet. The emergency vet, which was fortunately only 6 miles away and open. And I sat in a very cold veterinary office for about 4 hours while they checked her over and found out that, yes, she was, in fact, just incredibly constipated. So they sent us home with some medicine and some instructions, and we squirted stuff into her mouth and got some of it on her fluff. Now I got to clean that up so she doesn't like me because of that. And with our goal of being a generally emptier cat within the next few weeks. So yeah, that's a way to start a year, I guess. It's hard to say. But I do want to apologize, Maverick and Emily. We were going to go up and bring stuff up to you, but due to the fact that we had to deal with the cat, that kind of got all pushed out of the way. And by the time I got done with the cat thing, we would have definitely missed our window of opportunity. So I took my lovely wife, Amy, out for lunch at Saltgrass, which is one of our traditions, is letting somebody else cook on the major holidays if we're not going to be with family, in which case we will generally let the family cook because, you know, they count as somebody else. But that's really how things have gone today. I took a nap. That's something that the older you get, the more you value your naps. And as my mother-in-law used to say, that's how you can tell you're an adult. If somebody asks you, would you like to take a nap? And you say yes, you are an adult. And that's certainly the case here. So we are going to kill an hour or so, maybe a little more. And I know that if you frequent any other streams, an hour seems like genuinely picayune as far as content goes. But let's be honest about this. I do 30-minute shows. And just doing a 45-minute show seems like I'm stretching it a little bit. Speaking of that, I did actually do some 45-minute shows, and I'm beginning to learn when I did New Braunfels Ren Fair, which may have been about 15 minutes more than most fairgoers are prepared to deal with. I'm not entirely certain. I think most of the time, if I'm going to be out there doing this stuff at a fair, it's going to be about a 30-minute set, which includes setting up, gathering the crowd, and passing the hat, cleaning up afterwards, because they taught me how to get the heck off stage on time. So, what else is going on? Well, it's 2024, as you can tell, by the handy-dandy date stamp up in the top right corner of the screen there. We are in the new year, at least according to the generally accepted calendar. Of course, I don't know what it is on the Chinese calendar, nor do I know what it is on the Hebrew calendar, or the Mesopotamian calendar, for that matter, for those of you who observe Mesopotamian calendar years. Hey, Teppo! See, I'm doing this just a little bit before midnight, for once, for you. Teppo got to enjoy the benefits of the new year before those of us in the United States of America because, well, he's on the other side of the bloody planet. So I'm not even sure what song I'm going to play first. I know I have an idea of what songs I'm going to play. I just don't know what order or anything, so I decided not to plan. Because, hey, it's worked so well for me in the past. Why not? Let's do Fish Puncher as kind of a warming up exercise, because I found myself playing that during the pre-show, forgetting, of course, that I'd written a song of that with those very chords. I know. Oh, Fish Puncher the octopus punches fish. Fish Puncher the octopus, pugilist. He wants to start a fight, don't know how to do it right. Oh, Fish Puncher the octopus. He punches. He punches. Fish Puncher the octopus punches fish. Fish Puncher the octopus gotta beef, beats a fish just to get relief. Oh, fish punch of the octopus. He punches. He punches. Fish punch of the octopus. Punches fish. Fish punch of the octopus. Pugilist. When he gets into a stew, he'll beat up oceanographers too. Fish punch of the octopus. He punches. He punches. Fish punch of the octopus. He punches. He punches. Fish punch of the octopus. He punches. He punches. Fish. Now, I stopped that a little bit early because I discovered something. I'm wearing flannel. And I have on a long sleeve shirt, which I have rolled the sleeves up slightly, but not all the way. During which we have received a tutorial on time zones and how they work relative to the United States and Finland, thanks to my good friend Teppo, who is in fact our man in Finland. I wrote a song for that, as a matter of fact. What I noticed is when I play, usually when you're playing the ukulele, you tend to use your arm to kind of hold the ukulele in place unless you're using a strap. And I don't wear a strap here because I'm inside. So what I was having is that this thing was slowly sinking out of my grip as I'm playing it. It's like, pull it back up, pull it back up, pull it back up. So that's all right. That's all right. We are literally winging it here for anyone who is watching now or watching later on, because I know that I am big in syndication. Now the other side of the world, just halfway there. Yeah. So y'all are like way over there, and then you're kind of there, but also further there. Finland. I was just rereading, as a matter of fact, Neil Stephens' Cryptonomicon, which does spend some time in Finland, by the way. There's a phenomenon, which, if you have read the Illuminatus books by Robert Anton Wilson and Robert Shea, or seen Repo Man, it's gone by a couple of different names. But there's a phenomenon where if you start to become aware of a certain thing, you notice more instances of that certain thing in the world. With the Illuminatus trilogy, it was the number 23. And if you look up the number 23, there's a lot going on there on the interwebs. You can find a lot of that. With Repo Man, it was like plate of shrimp. If you start thinking about plate of shrimp, you'll notice more instances where plate of shrimp occurs in your world, or plate or shrimp, but it's always in there. There's an actual psychological condition, psychological phenomenon. It's like when I started riding my motorcycle, I started noticing motorcyclists more often because I was paying attention for them. Or VW bugs, you'll notice more VW bugs. Or RVs, you'll notice more RVs. It really is an interesting thing. And I wrote a song specifically for about Teppo for Richard, who I'm kind of hoping might be able to get on and catch some of this nonsense today. And if I can figure out where I put it, it's under music, of course. And I don't get to do this one. I don't do this one as much because it's not one of the big bouncy songs, but it is, I think, one of my better ones. It is in desperate need of a solo in the middle of the bridge. And one day, when I have more than just me on stage, I'm hoping that I can play this and I can have the solo take place in the spot where it should go in here. Cold nights, cold days, up north, just a ways, blind cyclist through the dawn, got his goggles and his helmet on. That's a little slow, isn't it? Let me put that into the appropriate gear here. 2, 3, 4. There we go. Long nights, cold days, up north, just a ways. Blind cyclist through the dawn, got his goggles and his helmet on. A man in Finland, a man in Finland. Better. No more days sitting around, gotta get up, head into town, find the way out through the square. Got some FedEx waiting there. A man in Finland, a man in Finland. Go. This is where the solo would wind up. In the square, taking the sights, then right off into Helsinki's night. Cross Arcanate, not the plan. Wait, F. All Helsinki, I'm there. Respect my hand now. A man in Finland, a man in Finland. Kind of fumbled there, but it has, as I said, been a little while since I've done that one. Hey, hi there. I'm gonna hurt myself trying to pronounce your handle here, NOC4BL3. Hi. It's thank you very much. I'm very happy. We're happy to be doing this. I've just thrown my pick on the ground. I'll get another one. I'll get it later. Sooner or later, I will either pick it up or I will simply play until my hands hurt. Yeah, it's been a heck of a year. Last year was a heck of a year for a number of reasons. I wanted to start this year without a crisis, and if the cat thing that I talked about earlier is the only crisis that we have to face, I feel we're doing well. Pretty much. At least hopefully. It's, oddly enough... Yep, I haven't taken New Braunfels Ren Fair off the crawl here. That was a lot of fun. They are going to do that again next year. What's coming up is the Kerrville Renaissance Festival in Kerrville, Texas, the same place that they have the Kerrville Folk Festival, but in a different location because Kerrville is actually larger than just that campground. Shock, I know. Actually, it's funny because the Kerrville Folk Festival happens on one side of the river, and the Ren Fair happens in the municipal park on the other side of the river. Why? I do not know. But this year, I am actually going to be paid real human money to perform there. And I'm hoping that I'll be sharing the tent with Volgamut again. Because that was a heck of a lot of fun. The guys in Volgamut are all wonderful human beings, and they let me play with them. I will tell you right now, the first time was because we had like one of those first thing in the morning before when the fair opens shows, they had a show, and there was like just us because we're at the back end of that fair. It's not a large fair site, but it takes a little while to get back there. And so I was able to play with them on a couple of traditional songs, and I had a terrible moment where I completely failed to remember how to play the D minor chord. Now, the D minor chord was featured heavily in Our Man in Finland, and in a number of other songs. A lot of medieval stuff is D, D, A minor, D, 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 A minor. Shocking amount of medieval music uses those two chords. Probably because they were really easy to play on whatever instruments were common at the time. That's my real theory here. Is a lot of these chords were popular simply because that's what that's what the person could play quickly, because there's some chords that are just a moose, and you don't hear them as much because of that very purpose. In this case, this is the B chord, which would translate in a guitar to the F chord. And if you've ever played guitar and tried to play the F chord, you understand just how obnoxious that is. Now, on the other hand, the F chord on a ukulele is a 2-finger wonder. You put one finger here, you put one finger here, ta-da, you have played an F chord. Yay. And I also use the F chord in there, but I do put a little bit of a little stink on it there, which I think is like F6-ish. I don't know. I was not a music major. Speaking of songs that involve F chords, let me pull one out of the list here of my stack. One of the many things I have here. I'll play that for Maverick in a few. But I will play... Yeah. Why not? We'll just do this one. This one does have the F in it, but it does start in C, as many things do. And it is, of course, the song that I'm most likely to be sued out of existence with. Yea, Squidditch, there are valiant wizards the world around who seek and block and fly. But those wizards fly above the ground, they drop too fast, they die. Us sailing wizards have a game that's grand from start to finish. I speak, of course, of the legendary seafaring game of Squidditch. Please don't sue me. Oh, mount your mops and soar above the briny waves so blue. We flit and fly and drink and try to score a point or two. No puny ball would have the gall to bludge your stern amid. And you also have the chance to belt your best friend with the squid. Yay, Squidditch! I realized after I wrote the song that's the only time I actually mentioned the name of the game. So I decided to add a rousing chorus of Yay, Squidditch to the end of the song. So if you're ever where I'm playing, and you join me in the rousing chorus of Yay, Squidditch, I will not feel so dumb. Load up on rum and bring your chum, shine up your flying mop. For the game is played from dusk till dawn until all the sailors drop. No points are scored, no numbered board will tell you if you won. But if all of us are in the drink, I guess the game is done. Because there's no such thing as water Squidditch. There's just, oh look, everybody's falling off their mops into the ocean, mate. Someone get the towel. Mount your mops and soar above the briny waves so blue. We flit and fly and drink and try to score a point or two. No puny ball would have the gall to bludge your stern amid. And you also have the chance to belt your best friend with the squid. Yay, Squidditch! The game is still enduring, it calls for all your wit and luck. If you see a cephalopod fly by, well, I'd suggest you duck. For you have to stay upon your mop, and that takes all your wit. For a squid will try to cuddle just whatever it is it hits. Which is why the scientific term for squid is... And I asked ChatGPT about this, so it must be right. Cuttlefish. Oh, mount your mops and soar above the briny waves so blue. We flit and fly and drink and try to score a point or two. No puny ball would have the gall to bludge your stern amid. And you also have the chance to belt your best friend with a squid. Yay, Squidditch! We swoop and swive and spin and dive and carrying into space. 'Cause you never know when you'll end up with a squid stuck to your face. You says the peril here is very real, and that, my friend, is that. For a sailor's game time's ending in a damp, resounding splat. Although, to be honest with you, the actual sound made by a live squid adhesing to a human face is more along the lines of shh. But I can't rhyme that. And I have tried. Oh, mount your mops and soar above the briny waves so blue. We flit and fly and drink and try to score a point or two. No puny ball would have the gall to bludge your stern amid. And you also have the chance to belt your best friend with a squid. Yay, Squidditch! The game is passed on far too fast. We all are in the drink. And you cannot tell whose team is which because of all the ink. Because it's a squid. So I guess this means the game is done. The squid has swum away. Let's clean up ourselves and go dry off and brag about the day. Because no matter how many times you tell it, the story of how one of your best friends caught a squid right in the mush never gets old. Does it? Oh, mount your mops and soar above the briny waves so blue. We flit and fly and drink and try to score a point or two. No puny ball would have the gall to blood your sternum mid. And you also have the chance to belt your best friend with a squid. You also have the chance to belt your best friend with a squid. The point of this game is you can belt your best friend with a squid. Yay, Squidditch! Anyway. Oh my goodness me. I see by the thingy here, it indicates I have at least 2 people watching me. Which is 2 more people than I expect to watch me. Let's be honest about this. The counter on this live stream thing is not accurate to the best of my knowledge. It's vague. And it only seems to gauge certain people on certain accounts at certain times. Which is weird to me. I mean, if I come over here and I check to see if there's anybody out there watching on Facebook, for example, I see there's 1 person there. Okay, that's cool. That's good. I like it. Now, YouTube, maybe, will show me that there's 1 person there. Maybe if we're lucky. Or it might say there's nobody there, which I think is an insult to the person that's watching me right now. See, it says 3 people are watching me on YouTube. Right now. 3. Not 2, 3. So, I mean, honestly, when you get right down to it, it just gets confusing. So I just have to take it on faith that there are people out there watching. You do exist! I believe in you! I believe in you! I'm just angling the mic slightly. This mic, by the way, is still a Yeti Blue with a boom that reaches out. And it's currently set, I think, to cardioid stereo, which means that this channel over here sounds different than this channel over here. But since I'm standing right here, most of what you get is me making noise in all directions. This microphone I actually picked up when I was doing the podcast. Some of you might remember the podcast. I did it for like a couple of years, and then the pandemic hit, and I began to develop exactly 0 enthusiasm for anything that required a lot of production work, but I was more than willing to hit the play button and go live on Facebook, which is what has led us to where we are today. I will also note that these live streams apparently were the reason why I got hired to do the New Braunfels Renaissance Festival. Kerrville, I had to talk them into it. I had to trick them. Hey, you know what? This is gonna be one of the long shows. This is the big McLargeHuge. This is a special New Year's Day episode of the Tobias the Adequate Troubadork. Not commuting because it's a holiday show. Salud. Brought to you by, I won't name it, but the label should look familiar. It's my favorite, brown chemical fizzy water. And at times during this year, my bloodstream has been at least 35% of that. Which would explain a few things, honestly. I'm going to do a song that does not use my standard chord set of C, G, and F. I do a lot of songs of C, G, F. I'm going to do this one, I think. Yeah. Pretty sure I can do this one. This one I wrote for... I'm also going to look down to see if I can figure out where my pick flew away to. Oh, there it is, way down there. Watch this. Highly talented adult man attempting to fetch a pick from under his desk using nothing but his bestockinged feet. Bestockinged? Is that a word? Well, it is now. Bestockinged feet, besottled man. Hey, check this out. Ta-da! I got it. Found my pick. Got my pick. Which is good, because this one kind of requires it. Hello, Delilah. The Delilah kitty, who I mentioned earlier, is now currently going back and forth. Hey. You doing all right? Have you forgiven me for squirting the stuff down your throat and then trying desperately to clean the goop off of your fluff? Yeah? I don't know if you can hear the cat meowing. I'm kind of hoping you do, because it adds a certain ambiance in the... Jenna says what? Have known you since Northern Fair. from a long time ago. In a galaxy far, far away. And now my sister calls. I'm going to let that one go to voicemail because I'm actually doing a show. You know, it's some days. I could put it on and like have her say hello to all of you, but I think that might be a bit much even for me and even for her, and that's okay. Yes, Delilah will probably run away again. I don't know where she went. She was here for a moment, and then everything else. This is kind of one of the joys and one of the terrors of live streaming, is that anything can happen at any moment. Kat, of course, the moment I start actually making noise, she tends to leave. Because she has opinions about my music. Many other creatures do as well. Yes, this one. This one is for Madman Maverick, the world's second greatest magician, but also the official axe master of the Sherwood Forest Fair, Sherwood Summer Camp, Sherwood Grown-Up Summer Camp, pretty much in every other event that involves him throwing axes, and he is now on the great big McLargeHuge stage, which used to be the pirate stage, and now I don't even know what they call it anymore. Delilah prefers classical music? You know, I could play that, but I don't know. That's all I remember out of my 7th grade introductory guitar class, by the way. But you can play it on this, because it adds the same strings, which is always fun. So I wrote this song for Maverick because one of the key phrases in Maverick's Danger Show, in which he throws knives and axes and does stuff with fire, is set it on fire. And it actually occurred, true fact, because he started to play and he started to throw things around. And while he was throwing things around, he was encouraged to make a couple of theatrical choices. E, 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 A. And it's called Set It on Fire, because literally that was the young child's encouragement. The young kid has known the show since its inception, when it was just a magic show with a little bit of danger, and has become more 2 versions of the same show, one of which is the Magic Act, and one of which is the Mortal Peril show. And it has a few chords in it. And if I can check my notes, yeah, it's this one, instead of being C, G, and F, this one uses D, A, and G. And it actually sounds suspiciously like the kind of song that John Cougar Mellencamp might write if he was writing a song about setting things on fire. My friend the magician throws lots of things. He throws some axes and knives and rings. But he wanted that extra something to take his performance higher. Little kid in the front row said that he had an idea. Don't set it on fire. Don't set it on fire. Don't set it on fire. Now Madman Maverick don't have no fear. He's been doing this dangerous stuff for many a year. But that little kid had a good idea. So the next show, Maverick knew his path was clear. Don't set it on fire. Don't set it on fire. Don't set it on fire. Them burning torches gets lots of cheers. Throwing burning axes has earned him some beers. If you want to advance to what you aspire, there's just one course of action to take. Gonna set it on fire. Gonna set it on fire. Gonna set it on fire. Fire. You know, I've eaten fire. Twice. More like putting out a burning torch with your face, but it still counts. And one thing I've learned, and believe me, if it's not on fire, they don't want to see you eat it. Gotta set it on fire. 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 Fire, fire. Fire, fire. Shut up. Just don't make me slap you. Fire. Fire. Anyway, I am just nuts. I am just nuts. It's just kind of one of those things. Live entertainment because of that kind is boring. Yes, very much so. That's one of those songs I haven't played a whole lot, and I keep forgetting how I do it. And right now, I tried doing the knock knock thing, but I had to like open and close my hand too much. So it was just not make slapping the uke. And if the uke is mic'd, if I do have two piezoelectric pickups in here, probably be heard properly. Now, I could strap one of these bad boys on. There's a little baby maraca. They sell these things to ukulele players, which shows you can sell a ukulele player almost anything. And if I have this, then it goes. That's still. Yeah, still again. Here we go. See, it assumes a level of coordination which is not existent in my person. Because I can either have this make all the noise all the time or no noise by taking it up. I sound like Animal in the song. Animal with drums. Ah! Yes. I've been accused of being a Muppet on more than one occasion. It's true. And we haven't had a DNA test yet, so, you know, got to be careful. But I've been accused of much worse in my time. There's the worst things in the world than being a Muppet, honestly. Man, you have to have some guy's hand up your backside, but aside from that, no. And that, my friends, is roughly as blue as this show is ever going to get. I love the idea. Someone actually suggested that they recast movies instead of Disney doing like live action versions of all of them. Just do a Muppet version with like all Muppet cast but one human being, and no one ever mentions this fact, particularly the human being, which is particularly amusing too because I also remember seeing the comparison of Michael Caine's Scrooge in A Muppet Christmas Carol to Tim Curry's Captain Hook. Sorry, Tim Curry, not Captain Hook. Tim Curry's Long John Silver in the Muppet Pirate movie. Michael Caine simply treated all the other Muppets as actors. Tim Curry treated himself as a fellow Muppet. In which we get the line, "Step lively, mates, this be my only number." When you're a professional pirate, you don't have to wear a shirt. You don't have to wear a tie. Muppet Treasure Island, that is correct. Yes. Okay, let me see here. What other things do I want to play right now? Because there's all kinds of stuff. Things I do play sometimes, things I don't play as often. Wow. Okay, we're chugging along here. I am committed to doing at least an hour, and we are well past the halfway mark, which means it's time for our commercial break, brought to you by Oscar Hasselhoff, German Master of Defense. Right, inventor of the Hasselhoff maneuver. The Hasselhoff maneuver, which, if used properly, is 100% effective in all circumstances, and is discussed in this very handy book right over here, grabs him by the crotch and throws him out the window. I like grabs him by the crotch and throws him out the window. I like the book Grabs him by the crotch and throws him out the window so much that I actually wrote an advertising jingle for Grabs him by the crotch and throws him out the window, which I call Hasselhoff Ballad because Grabs him by the crotch and throws him out the window is far too long for a song title. Yes. And now... Ooh. Let's see if I catch that string on my finger again. Suddenly, out of nowhere. And now... Happy little children, we will sing the happy little song, yeah? A song of gambling, drunkenness, there it goes again. You know, you're pretty soon you're gonna wind up seeing my man clip his fingernails still live on the stream here. Yep, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it, you know why? Because I care. Also, because I care about all of you, and I know some people are kind of squicked by the whole fingernail clipping thing, I will take it out of camera. I just have these corners to my stupid fingernails, which causes them to catch the ends of the strings when I'm trying to do the gentle plucking. And instead, I get this random twang noise. Now, let's see. Oh, so much better. We will sing the happy little tune, yeah? A song about gambling, drunkenness, and defenestration, yeah? Song which causes me to perform in this ridiculous, unjustifiable Bavarian accent. It's insufferable. I hear this, I want to punch myself in the face. I was gambling in Helsinki, down upon mein luck. Owed a lot to these big Flemish guys, I felt that I was stuck. I thought I was a goner, sure surrounded by mine foes. Then I remembered Hasselhoff, and he solved all mine woes. For he invented the Hasselhoff maneuver, which goes like this. Just grab them by the crotch, and then throw them out the window. A lovely way to get above whatever makes you blow. Just grab them by the crotch, and then throw them out the window. It's amazing what a little flick of wrist and arm can do. Sometimes when I start, I go too fast or too slow, and I have to wait until I hit the chorus to remind myself of what the damn song sounds like. Well, I made my way out of there, and I fled down to the bar. I happily sipped lager, maybe 2 or 15 jaws. Some massive Swedish mercenary spoke ill of my ma. I did not think I could escape this peril quite unscarred. But then I remembered I had the informative booklet from Oscar Hasselhoff in my back pocket. I asked the massive Swedish behemoth, "Ohne Minuten, danke," and I took a moment to reread the passage on the Hasselhoff maneuver. I put the bookmark back in place. Always use a bookmark. Do not dog-ear the Hasselhoff maneuver booklet. It is very, very disrespectful. When I knew exactly what it is I had to do. So I grabbed him by the crotch, and I threw him out the window. A lovely way to get above whatever makes you blow. Just grab them by the crotch, and then throw them out the window. It's amazing what a little flick of wrist and arm can do. No, a Bavarian accent would be more like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Gee, this is not actually an Austrian accent. I just have a terrible sinus infection. I had gathered quite a crowd by the great feat I did perform. I ordered me another round, for I had grown quite warm. When time to pay the bill came, pleas for credit were all scorned. And though I tried to stand mine ground, mine fate was quite forewarned. For it came to pass in this very tavern in Helsinki, temporarily between violent conflicts, Oscar Hasselhoff, German master of defense, had been hired as a part-time bouncer. Well, I was thrilled. I fanboyed all over the place. Guten Abend, Master Hasselhoff, wie geht's? Would you sign in my booklet? We had to find a crayon. And then we had to take the point off the crayon because, well, you know, Hasselhoff pointy things was a bad idea. And he signed his name very carefully indeed. Then he grabbed me by the crotch, and he threw me out the window. Well, that was darned effective, I thought, as I was passing through. He grabbed me by the crotch, and he threw me out the window. Yes, it seems defenestration works on me as well as you. Everyone, happy children, sings a happy chorus with me, yeah? I know that I cannot actually hear you, but in my mind, I hear each and every one of you bloodthirsty little boogers. Just grab them by the crotch, and then throw them out the window. A lovely way to get above whatever makes you blow. Just grab them by the crotch, Und then throw them out the window. It's amazing what a little flick of wrist and arm can do. Grab them by the crotch and throw them out the window. Where violent books are sold. I thought about that part too, and I just love the massive gear change from the happy bavarian. Well, that was darned effective. As about as Caucasian, about as American as I can do it. You will note, those of you who are not from the United States of America, that there is a certain accent, which many people consider to be the American accent, as portrayed by non-Americans, particularly in European television. You will notice there are very common threads in this American accent. Most recently portrayed by, House MD, Doctor Strange, and of course, any number of non-United States comedians. And a lot of it is that you lean on this. First of all, you kind of cave in your sinus cavities a bit, and then you lean on the R's. All of your R's are very hard, because a lot of Europeans do not use the letter R in the same way. Unless you're Spanish, in which case you grab that R and you ride it off into the sunset. Because, arriba, arriba, aruba, arriba, arumba. Just sweeping up. This is where I get to be babbling a lot. But that's all right. Because honestly, without y'all talking to me over here, I would be doing this to myself. I have. I'm not proud of it, but I have. And I'll do it again. By the way, if you happen to be anywhere, these are, I found this really neat little, if you like almonds, and you like almonds that are coated with flavors, someone is making orange dreamsicle flavored almonds. And I know this because I was at the Costco when we found these, and we bought a bag of them. And we bought another bag of them the 2 weeks later, but at this point, they don't have them anymore, which is the nature of Costco. It's kind of a big roulette wheel. Sometimes you get stuff, sometimes you don't. But I'm enjoying them while I have them because they are tasty, yummy, good. And it's a pecan. It's an almond, so it's technically good for you. What else to do here? There's so many things. Oh, I'll do this one. When I was at the Scarborough Renaissance Festival this year, I was able to talk the man in charge of the pub sing, the big pub sing that was happening on the main stage, because there were two pub sings at Scarborough. Cast pub sing and the other one, which is the performer pub sing, also known as the pub thing, which was happening at the King's pub. Cast pub sing was happening at the Sea Hag stage, and only by virtue of the fact that I staggered upon the Sea Hag stage first did I wind up being part of the cast pub sing for, jeez, most of the time that I spent there, and in fact co-hosted the damn thing for 4 years. And I talked the Burley Minstrel, who was running the Queen's Pub Sing, which was happening on the Queen's stage, which is the big main stage at Scarborough. If you come into the gates at Scarborough, you go down the hill, it's right there. You can't miss it. It's right, the big thing in front of you. Of doing a song, and I played Useless Magic Sword, which I'll probably play a little bit later in this show. And I got a note from someone I respect a great deal, who said that he felt that the song was a bit long for the pub sing. In fact, most of the songs were a bit long. And I will admit there was definitely some delving into the vast covered bucket of self-indulgence on some of the stuff that was performed at the Queen's Pub Sing. And Useless Magic Sword is about a 4-minute song, which isn't long. It's not like Inagata Davida or anything, but it could be shorter. And I decided that I would put up with that by writing another song. I would rebut that particular thought and also provide, helping in the way that I help. You hear the way that's spelled. With a little thing I like to refer to as the brief. Tuning, again, because we care about people. How'd I get sharp? Bloody close enough. So this is a little song I like to call The Brief. Welcome to the pub sing, I'm happy to perform, but I've been informed by the management that we're running a little long. It can happen, but I hate to disappoint you, oh, nothing of the sort, but to help the schedule out here is a song that is short, and then walk away and see what happens. I really want to do that in front of a big crowd of people and just like total dead cut off, because I think that will be hilarious. Because I'm small and petty minded, and I really love the idea of writing a very short, funny song that will cause the person who said the song should be short to be like, that, well, he did what I suggested, because I like people. I do. Oh my goodness. I should probably do this one just because this is what I'm using now to open my show. When I do my show, I used to do Oh Look an Audience, which is basically a conversion of my Magic Act pre-show introduction stuff into a 3-minute song. And it was okay. It did well. It set expectations, but it took a while to do so. And I was kind of afraid that this was one of those songs where I was being too fond of my own darn cleverness. I mean, I'm a reasonably clever guy. But the song did not inspire an immediate reaction. It built up. And there's some people that did actually cheer during Oh Look an Audience. Like, yay, that's him. Oh Look an Audience, right, that's you. On the other hand, the very first time I played what I'm about to play, it immediately got a reaction. So much of a reaction, in fact, that I knew that this had to be the song that I had to open with this song, because it set everything up. Audience expectations, who I am, how I perform, what the hell's going on here. Set it all up quickly and efficiently and effectively. I like that a lot. So, well, you'll know what this song is in a moment. As I was walking on Kilkenny Mountain, I met the Captain Farrell and his money he was counting. Well, first he drew me pistol and then produced me rapier, singing, give me all your gold, 'cause I'm a big golden retriever. With a boom shakalaka, like a boom shakalaka. I don't know all the words. I don't know all the words to Whiskey in the Jar. Here we go. It was many years ago when I first heard this song performed, but somewhere in my memory the lyrics got distorted. It's true. It can happen. It lasts a half an hour, but it never seems to bore us, 'cause no one's listening to the words, we're waiting for the chorus. With a boom shakalaka, like a boom shakalaka. I don't know all the words. I don't know all the words to Whiskey in the Jar. And now, genuine Irish nonsense. I cannot read my writing. With a boom shakalaka, like a boom shakalaka. I don't know all the words. I don't know all the words to Whiskey in the Jar. I never thought I'd have the time to give the song its glory, 'cause it takes a half a week to tell a proper Irish story. You'd think we'd all be over it, and yet the lad who's bringing gotta be drunk to write a song like this, and drunker still to sing it. Everybody with a boom shakalaka, like a boom shakalaka. I don't know all the words. I don't know all the words to Whiskey in the Jar. With a boom shakalaka, like a boom shakalaka. I don't know all the words. I don't know all the words to Whiskey in the Jar. Boom shakalaka, like a boom shakalaka, like a boom. And so that one kind of sets the tone real quick. It also helps that I don't always remember the proper rhythm of the song when I start, but by the time we get to the chorus, everyone's locked in. And I have had people actually sing along with me. Oh, you know what? I don't too. I don't know all the words. I'll see their mouths. I don't know all the words to Whiskey in the Jar. It's liberating to sing a song where people can right up front get in with you, in on the gag. And that has been the entire point of everything I've ever done on stage at fair. The absurdity of our situation is not lost upon me. Here I am, a man in funny clothing and a weird hat, on stage, singing to people who did not plan to come to see me most of the time, didn't even know I existed until they got here, sat down, looked at the gaudy doublet, and decided, okay, well, I'm giving them a shot. And if I can get them in on the gag immediately, then I have them for the rest of the show. And I'll tell you something right now. This is a true fact. It is so much easier to do this than to do the magic. Some of you have seen the Tobias the Adequate Magic Show, either in clips or live and in person. And when I did the magic show, I was 80 miles an hour, full goose bozo, toes gripping the edge of the stage all the time because I was desperate to keep, build, and hold an audience. A lot of that had to do with the fact that I was treating it as my second job. I am now officially in the enthusiastic amateur portion of my career path here. This is something I can do for a long time and not burn myself out on it like I did with magic. When I hit the end of 2016, I was ready to stop for a while because I was just really, really dang tired. Of course, the 4-hour drive to and from fair every weekend didn't help either. If I lived up there or had, a job which allowed me to telecommute at that time, this was pre-pandemic, remember, when telecommuting was frowned upon in most support and service industries. Nowadays, of course, you can do it from a lot of stuff from anywhere. But anyway, that is, I don't know all the words. As I was walking until... Yeah, there we go. I still kind of know how to do that. And I should get back into practice because I've got the gig at Caraville coming up. My friend Siren Emily will be vending stuff there. I know that. And that's also a very cool thing. I should also note that... couple of my friends who vended those little plushies at Steampunk November will be at Scarborough. They're pitching to do, I think, a 3 or 4 week guest artist spot, and we'll see how that goes. I'm always happy when my friends have a chance to vend their wares and enjoy themselves at an event that I'm at, because that means I can come over and say hi to them and occasionally hang out with them and make things even more interesting and entertaining if we're lucky. I've been looking at what's behind me on this side for a little while in this camera view, and I cannot tell you what that is, but I can tell you, looking around on that side, it is actually a whole bunch of hangers hanging off of each other, one after the other. Because this is part of the, it's part of how we keep all of our costumes organized. For my wife and I, we have many costumes because we've been doing Ren fairs for a long, bloody time. And that closet back there, where the hangers are hanging off of, is one of the places we keep a large number of those costumes. A number of those large costumes, too. We still have her hoops from when she was doing English middle class. And she had hoops, because it was Elizabethan English middle class, and not... Well, Tudor began to have some hoops. There were hoops involved. And you can clear an entire hallway with a good set of hoops. And I know at least one person who does Dickens Fair in hoops, and I suggested she also use roller skates, and she just kind of cruises around like a big old parade float. It's a beautiful thing. It's a thing of beauty. All right, having done that, having gotten that far into my day, and this show, I might add, it's just one of the perils, you see. I have a tendency to go off on tangents, which is one of the perils of being a Renaissance minstrel. Let me try it. I'll try that again. Sometimes you have a boating accident, and I always seem to have something like that happen. Thank goodness this is rehearsal, huh? Yeah, well, they'll never notice when I actually perform live. Renaissance minstrel. There we go. I pray thee, my Lord, will you hear this song? It took me years to write, but will not take too long. It's based on a sonnet by a man named Kit, and I need a patron, for I long to be a Renaissance minstrel. Renaissance minstrel is a noble saga of a wandering knight, and his lady's love keeps him up at night. His son's a lowly squire shepherd's son. It's a steady job, but he wants to be a Renaissance minstrel. Renaissance minstrel, vibrato. Renaissance minstrel, minstrel, minstrel. There's 100 verses, give or take a few. I'll be writing more in a week or two. I can make it Latin if you like the sound. Set producers on, and I wanna be a Renaissance minstrel. Renaissance minstrel. If you do enjoy it, I can sing it there. I get so tired of wandering from fair to fair. If you must return it, send it to the king. He'll just put his name on it and call himself a Renaissance minstrel. Renaissance minstrel. Renaissance minstrel, minstrel. Renaissance minstrel, minstrel. Alas, my love, you do me wrong, minstrel. There's no good way to end this song, minstrel. They usually fade it out, you see, minstrel. I guess I'll end this gently, minstrel. Welcome to my hobby. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay, we're over an hour. We have officially broken the 1 hour limit. Dude. Hallelujah, huzzah, and noises like that. Real quick, I'm just gonna refresh a couple of screens. Why? Because I have a terribly fragile ego. And I like to see if people are still watching. I also know that some of y'all's connections are a little interesting, so you'll kind of come off and go on, come off and go on. And that's fine, too. This is show number 317. I started doing this nonsense a very long time ago. Like, really long time ago now. And it was back during lockdown when I decided to just see what would happen. And I think the first time I did it was 19 March 2020. And I just turned it on and said, I'm going to do some stuff and let's see what happens. And that one was just on Facebook. And I had people say, hey, I don't want to use Facebook. I was like, okay, so put it on YouTube. And hey, I want to do it on Twitch. So I put it on Twitch. And hey, I want to do this. So now we're at, jeez, that's a terrifying thought, man. That is a little under 4 years now that I've been doing this, and I've been playing this stuff to whoever wants to watch it, whether they watch it live or they watch it in reruns, because I know I'm big in syndication, and the times where I perform is not always conducive to your average working stiff in the United States of America. The East Coast folks, I start playing, at 5:30 their time. The California folks, I'm playing at 2:30 their time. And I usually play for about a half hour, because that's the amount of time it would normally take for me to drive home from my day job. I am one of those lucky people whose day job is about a half hour away from where they live. And when I was not having to drive home, I could just start the show. And so that's kind of how this whole thing happened. That's why it's called a non-commute show. It's another goofy little thing, but there it is. I'm also babbling a little bit because I'm trying to gauge internally how much more I have before I feel like I'm beginning to push the rope, as it were. As I do songs, as I play and enjoy myself, I can keep doing this for a long time. Some of the best shows I've ever done have been shows where I suddenly realize, oh my gosh, I'm out of time. I better play the last song. Which is not always a great thing to have to do, but, it's just how it goes. So I should also play this song before I quit. Do at least 2 more songs here. This is one I just literally finished writing on the 28th of December, and it is a folk song. It is based off of Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show's classic song, Cover of the Rolling Stone. And the reason that it works so well is because it has one of those choruses that it doesn't matter what, it's like whiskey in the jar. It doesn't matter what the words are. And in fact, if you don't know the words, recognize the words, remember the words, or can sing the words, it doesn't matter. The chorus is what matters. And in this case, the chorus that the audience needs to worry about are 3 simple words. 10-foot pole. Because this is based on the single most ridiculous piece of equipment ever created in the Dungeons and Dragons world, I think. It has is both practical and wildly impractical. And the reason it's wildly impractical is it's a 10-foot freaking pole. And these are people that are going into dungeons and caves and tunnels. And one of them is carrying a 10-foot pole. Now, of course, there's an expanding 10-foot pole, collapsing 10-foot pole, 2 5-foot poles that you can bolt together. Yeah, people have actually thought this through, but in the days of the original AD&D, and I remember them fondly, rules of encumberment were not exactly in stone. One of the interesting things about this one is that it uses the E chord, which sits way up on the neck. And I've actually tried taking this down. But the problem is, it starts so well in A. Well, I'm a dungeon dweller, I'm a well-equipped feller, and I carry all my stuff on my back. I got a sack, a bunch of potions, and some anti-itch lotions, and a sack for carrying all my sacks. I got spikes and caltrops and cast iron doors, I've got iron rations, got a dozen or so. The one item that'll thrill them and will help me beat the villains is my handy-dandy 10-foot pole. 10-foot pole, gonna find the traps down in the dungeon. Pole, gonna use it as a long wiggly bludgeon. Pole, gonna clean this ruin out with my handy-dandy 10-foot pole. I got bandages and rags and a roll of sleeping bags so I don't have to pass out on the floor. I got lockpicks and oil that'll help reduce the toil if I have to jimmy open the door. I got 50 feet of rope and I seriously do hope I never find a 57-foot hole. But the item that'll thrill me and ravines ain't gonna kill me with my handy-dandy 10-foot pole. 10-foot pole, gonna keep my party out of danger. Pole, gonna buy 5 more just for my ranger. Pole, gonna vault on up the ranks with my handy-dandy 10-foot pole. 10-foot pole, gonna find the traps down in the dungeon. Pole, gonna use it as a long wiggly bludgeon. Pole, gonna clean this ruin out with my handy-dandy 10-foot pole. 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 There we go. So you can see where that one, I mean, it's one of those songs that can be sung while drunk. Which, let's face it, at a Renaissance festival, the odds of someone being slightly inebriated are never zero. Ever, ever, ever. Oh, you're still with me. That's right. 10-foot pole. Yes. It's a fun song. I actually still have the 10-foot poles that I use in my magic act, and I will give you guys a little inside baseball here. They're not actually 10 feet long. They're really 8 feet long. But if I say they're 10 feet long and I stand next to them, I look like I'm 6 feet tall. It's perspective. They use that in the Lord of the Rings movies. And anyway, what is wrong with me? This is one of the finest compliments that was ever paid to me. On the pub sing stage, 2016. We were singing Irish Rover, and with the full orchestration and 5-part harmony and choreography that was brought forth by the Corsairs. There's a whole bunch of like big gestures, and it's just, so fare thee well, my pretty little girl, for we are bound away. And we were doing the bound away thing, and I looked at this for a minute, and I started doing Gundam style. Back when that was a thing. Remember when that was a thing? A long time ago, huh? And to my left, the mighty man actually running the show, Deadeye Ichabod Kicklepenny, turned to look at me in the middle of the show and just entirely just turned to me and yelled, "What is wrong with you?" And I think that's the finest compliment that's ever been paid to me during a live performance. Second only to the time when I was singing with the Lord Mayor's players, and I sang and I suddenly tipped my head down real fast. My hat fell off, and I'm standing on the edge of my stage, and his hat's down there on the ground, and I just kind of went like a magician. And someone in the audience came over, picked up the hat, put it in my hand, and got a round of applause. Really irritating David Springhorn, who was busy doing stuff over there again. The people to my left, I always wind up to overhear stage right for some reason. But I digress. What is this nonsense? I'm getting a long text message, which I will read later. I have a Nerd Watch. I got the Nerd Watch for my birthday because, among other things, it tells me when I need to get up and move around. But it also tells me it has a fall alert, which can alert my wife to when your husband falls over. Because some days if I fall down, that's kind of a big deal. Well, I got Useless Magic Sword. I've got 10-foot pole. I'm working on a couple. There's one in my head. Oh wow, for some dumb reason, the YouTube comments are not showing up in the chat again, which is really dumb and weird. I'm gonna see if I can fix that just a tad. Okay, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. Why? Because I care and because I want to share what people are saying, even when the technology is being less stupid. I'm gonna fix this here. Go gadget copy and paste like mad. Cause see yeah, we have a whole block of text here after that, and so there we go. Hydrating and healing potion. Yeah. Here we go. I'm gonna copy. See if I can get this in here. This is gonna be as me, but it's gonna be. Nope, that's not it. I need to copy. Let me copy. Right for you know, let me copy. What is wrong with you? Bugger. All right. So, NOC 4B. Yep. It is being less stupid. Less stupid. I think it's being so stupid it could actually be French. That's how I honestly believe this. I mean, this is just one of those things like, why? It's not a Tobias the Adequate Troubadork show without some kind of dumb technical foo-for-all going on here. And we're definitely seeing some dumb technical foo-for-all right around here. But that's okay. You know why? I'm going to... I can't paste that as a graphic. All right, so... Why? I'm doing this because I'm helping. Helping more. Oh, we have a cat? Where'd the cat go? Oh, that's Domino. Domino is the black and white cat. Domino has her own opinions. About my singing. And a lot of times it's just a matter of, are you going to feed me treats? Will it show up now? Yep, okay. That's really weird. You know, I'm honestly, if we just... I'm typing. You know why? Because I want all these comments to come out and be actually stuff other people can comment on, even if they don't see it. So you guys are at the mercy of my typing skills. And the fact that I can't spell, and I have to rely on repertoire? Repetio I-R-E. What? R-E-P-E-R. There's an R in their repertoire? There probably is. Yeah, spell check immediately got less angry at me. There we go. There we go. See, I want to make everybody. I want everybody to have that, and I also now know what the drag is on the comments. So yay. The closed caption provided by one man and a keyboard. Have the technologies. The spikes. Yeah. Well, I mentioned the spikes and the caltrops and the oil. And it's really kind of funny. I kind of want to. Yes. How much that can bite you in the backside. Yes, if you stick a door open or closed and you suddenly need the door to be in the other state, it would be bad. It can be bad. My very first D&D game that I ever played with other people, I'm very serious about this. They were going through the Hall of the Mountain Giants. Sorry, Hill Giants. Like the first in the Giants trilogy of the original AD&D games. And they had all played it before. And I had not. I had never played before at all. I was playing this little, lowly, level 1 fighter magic user, double-class idiot. So they all knew the map. So they went straight into the main chamber and immediately got destroyed. I mean, completely, utterly massacred, like, near total party kill. And this little bitty half-elf nerd is, like, going down this one little room, like, well, there's some stuff in here. Ooh, I hear mayhem. I was like, stick my head out. It's like, ooh. So I'm like dragging dead bodies into the room. It's like, no, potion, you idiots. You people are dumb. And I went up about 4 levels on that one because I was not an idiot. I miss tabletop role-playing games. They are a lot of fun, but it does require like people and scheduling. And that's something I don't always have a lot of these days. I'm hoping this year will be easier than last year was. Last year was just... Well, it started with the disaster known as the incident at work, and that lasted well into March, which also overlapped a number of performing things. But anyway, let's do some more music, shall we? I've done a little bit more. Less babbling, more babbling with music. What? Yeah, let's do that. Okay. My tuner is a USB rechargeable. It's down to 1 dot of the 3. So I have to be careful with it now. How about the dumbest song I have ever played? Oh, wait a minute. Something occurred to me that Tinderbox was a literal box. Well, it is a literal box. It's a box you keep stuff in that catches on fire. So that's how that works. Babbling with music deserves its own song. I really, really desperately want to copy this and paste it directly in here. What, can I do it now? Maybe? Doesn't seem to want to. Yes! Maybe. Yes! There we go. I will get everyone's comments on this damn thing. Pools of acid behave weirdly in D&D. They're entirely at the whim of the performer, of the D&D, the dungeon master, I should say. Yeah. I better do this one. When I was just a lad, 'twas for adventure I did yearn. Oh, what a question for the fame and glory I could earn. One night when I was rummaging an abandoned wyvern's hoard, 'twas then that I discovered me a useless magic sword. You knew the song was coming, didn't you? Useless magic sword, it's my useless magic sword. I'm questing more adventure with my useless magic sword. A useless magic sword, it's a useless magic sword. It did not come with instructions, it's my useless magic sword. The The sword, it was not very sharp, nor had a magic glow. I didn't know what it could do, nor where that it could go, so I took me to a scholar, the very best I could afford. He looked at it and said, "My son, it's a useless magic sword." I knew that. Useless magic sword, it's my useless magic sword. I'm questing for adventure with my useless magic sword. A useless magic sword, it's my useless magic sword. It did not come with instructions, it's my useless magic sword. Ah! I went to fight a dragon because that's just what heroes do. I thought I'd make my legend on the lizards that I slew. Dragon cocked his head up to one side with laughter, he then roared. It's embarrassing to be here with this useless magic sword. It says +0 on the hilt. Useless magic sword, it's my useless magic sword. I'm questing for adventure with my useless magic sword. A useless magic sword, it's my useless magic sword. It did not come with instructions, it's my useless magic sword. Yeah. I tried so hard to rid me of this stupid metal stick. I tried the classic methods, but they did not do the trick. He stuffed the sword into a stone, I mightily did try. The stupid thing bounced off the hilt, got me right in the eye. Ow! +1 against myself? Useless magic sword, it's my useless magic sword. I'm questing for adventure with my useless magic sword. A useless magic sword, it's my useless magic sword. It did not come with instructions, it's my useless magic sword. Ah! I was feeling mighty desperate, rash action I did take. I got a boat and rode to meet the lady in the lake. I threw it in the water, but she didn't speak a word. She threw it back, she didn't want my useless magic sword. On paper, those two lines should rhyme, but they don't. I'm kind of salty about it. Useless magic sword, it's my useless magic sword. I'm questing for adventure with my useless magic sword. A useless magic sword, it's my useless magic sword. It did not come with instructions, it's my useless magic sword. The years have passed, I've gotten old. I've never found my fame, and the stupid hunk of metal doesn't even have a name. So I stuffed it straight into the floor, wedged in between the boards. I use it as a coat rack now, my useless magic sword. Oh, I love it when a happy ending. We have a happy ending? Don't you? Useless magic sword, it's my useless magic sword. I'm questing for adventure with my useless magic sword. A useless magic sword, it's my useless magic sword. And I use it as a coat rack now, my useless magic sword. Yeah. When I was playing this song at the last show and the New Braunfels Ren Fair, I completely failed to remember how to play. And I kept trying to do, which also generally went, although there have definitely been times when I was playing it and I went, which is why I like, because it just shows that technique has clearly gone completely out the window. Which is headed that way right now, which I think means, folks, it is time for the moment you've all been waiting for. That's right, the last show in the set. Just as my counter increases by one more person, showing that somebody else is signed in, do not panic. Once this is done and been tightened up again, you'll be able to play the entire thing from the beginning on whatever venue you are watching this show from. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you are, you're probably a person. Because I think you have to like pick out pictures of streetlights and stuff. I don't know. These longer shows are interesting because sometimes I get a lot of people, sometimes I don't. The most I've ever had watching at one time was 12 people, which is not like, internet rock star legend, but it's 12 people that wanted to hang out with me. And I like that. And I appreciate that. And sometimes that's more people than I have in my live shows. So dwell on that for a moment, won't you? I am so lonely. I'm fine. The song I'm going to play is the one I usually use to wrap up my shows. I am becoming more and more comfortable with using it. As a matter of fact, I actually got to use my bard skills at the new Braunfels Ren Fair at the Mead tent because the Mead Hall, I should say. It wasn't a tent, it was a hall. Their fancy screw it down and then push both levers of it corkscrew broke. And these poor ladies, who were younger than me, I will note, were trying very hard to open a bottle of wine using the bartender bottle tool, which has a bottle opener at one end and a corkscrew and a lever thing on it. And they were failing miserably. And they were failing miserably mostly because none of them cut the foil off of the bottle first. Because with the big macho, it'll, good sound effect, it'll bust through the foil. So I said, would you like some help? And they said, sure. I said, all right, let me show you how this. First and foremost, you got to cut the foil off the top with this knife part here. Put that up there. Then you screw the corkscrew in, then use a little handle thing like that. And I handed her the bottle. And she let me get my beverages for free because Bard. So I have used my Bard skills, so I don't feel quite so bad about calling myself that on occasion. I still don't feel like I'm a Bard. I feel like I'm an idiot with a ukulele and an inability to keep quiet. But as the years progress, I get a little bit more and more comfortable in this. And at some point, I'll probably will be willing to call myself that right before I retire. People say that because I write some songs, I might just be a bard. But writing songs is really fun, it's really not that hard. I call myself the Troubadork, that B word has me jarred. Because while I am not a bard, I've frequently been barred. Welcome to my world. I've been barred from ships and taverns, I've been barred from pubs and clubs, I've been barred from village fairs, they even took my ticket stubs. I've been barred from local jam sessions, been all but feathered and tarred, and to make the matters worse, from all the bars I have been barred. Hootenannies will not have me, nor will any open mic. I can play whatever song I please, but nowhere that I like. People want me to pay for my sins, but music should be free. And while I can play wherever I please, no place is pleased with me. Well, I do sing about throwing squid and defenestration and stuff like that. Or maybe it's the hats. Probably the hats. I've been barred from ships and taverns, I've been barred from pubs and clubs, I've been barred from village fairs, they even took my ticket stubs. I've been barred from local jam sessions, been all but feathered and tarred, and to make the matters worse, from all the bars I have been barred. I may be a humble poetaster, a poet not so good. I just want my songs to come out right like any sane man would, but the people when they hear my songs react with low regard. Just because they see my music left them emotionally scarred. For some reason, that always gets a laugh from the live audience. Which means one of two things. Either I'm not as weird as I think I am, or they are. I've been barred from ships and taverns, I've been barred from pubs and clubs, I've been barred from village fairs, they even took my ticket stubs. I've been barred from local jam sessions, been all but feathered and tarred, and to make the matters worse, from all the bars I have been barred. So my friends, you know I'll know my tale, take pity on my plight. So let's just want to play our stuff and pray it comes out right. The peace of your humble Troubadork, please do not run away. As I stagger through this world, looking for somewhere I can pray. Like a tavern, or an alehouse, or an undisclosed location in San Antonio, Texas. In the room known as Away, in the house known as Ororoki. Thank you all for hanging out with me. Have a glorious year. I've been barred from ships and taverns, I've been barred from pubs and clubs, I've been barred from village fairs, they even took my ticket stubs. I've been barred from local jam sessions, and all but feathered and tarred, and to make the matters worse, from all the bars, oh yeah! I've been barred from ships and taverns, I've been barred from pubs and clubs, I've been barred from village fairs, they even took my ticket stubs. I've been barred from local jam sessions, and I've been feathered and tarred, and to make the matters worse, from all the bars. Grab them boards! Oh! And so we come once again with all the enthusiasm and the precision of a hyperactive 2-month-old Labrador Retriever puppy skittering across the highly waxed floor of music and entertainment and heading directly for the expensive china cabinet, which is the end of the Troubadork Happy New Year show. Thank you all for hanging out with me. I want to make sure that we have a couple more of these comments from YouTube that actually make it into the chat, because by God, I think they deserve to, because I am that kind of guy. The cats laughed. Add spikes. Okay, and then this one. I don't know why the chat's being dumb. I've seen the chat be dumb before, and I think it's just the chat being dumb. I think there's some of these tools are just not as good as they ought to be. I have a little bit more of a year's subscription on Streamlabs, and I may go back to the free version, OBS, just because it's there. I don't know if I'm getting anybody actually watching me on Streamlabs, so, you know, what's one more or one less thing among friends. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Have a glorious new year. May this year be full of good things for you. And things that you need. And things that you didn't know you needed, and turns out you do need them. And the ability to recognize some of the things you don't need. And the ability to let those things go in a graceful and non-challenging manner. As always, treat people like people. Don't treat people like things. Trans rights are human rights. Be kind. Fight fire with marshmallows. It confuses your enemies. Plus, it means that you have marshmallows, which is good. And if you really need to, you can throw a flaming marshmallow at somebody, and they're never prepared for that. I would also like to advocate that small, pocket-sized air horns are available at popular prices in sporting goods stores throughout the globe. And no one is ever prepared to get a blast from an air horn as a corrective measure for socially toxic behavior. I firmly believe that if we had more air horns, we'd have less assholes. I'm very serious about this. Try it out. Be prepared to run, but try it out. Because most of the time, especially for people of this complexion, there's nothing in the world that's more socially corrective than to be made to feel ever so slightly uncomfortable in public. Yes, maybe I am taking this bard thing a little seriously after all. You know who to blame, right? Y'all aren't to blame because you built this up in me. But don't worry, I only take this as seriously as I take everything else, which is not very seriously at all. Because ain't none of it permanent. And the best we can do is to leave a bunch of good stories for people. Even if the story starts with, you're not going to believe this, but... And in fact, I'm living this year as if living this year by the phrase, well, clearly there ain't enough legends about me yet. I will see you all probably on Friday. I'll do a short show, the usual one. We will probably do them on most weekends and Fridays that I'm not traveling. But there will be times when I'm going to be too tired or too dumb or something else has come up, and I'll do my best to let you know. You can follow me on Twitter at The Adequate. Facebook is at Tobias The Adequate. Also at The Adequate's my own personal site. I am at The Adequate on Blue Sky. I am at The Adequate on Threads. I am Tobias The Adequate on TikTok. YouTube is YouTube/MP Laguerre. The Adequate was already taken. Just whatever. My website is theadequate.com and also Troubadork.com. PayPal is paypal.me/theadequate. Venmo is @theadequate. Cash App is $theadequate. I have incredible branding. And that's enough out of me for another show. Y'all have been wonderful. Thank you for hanging out with me. I continue to be, to the best of my abilities, Tobias the Adequate. And thank you for encouraging my behavior. And I'll see you all next time. Take care.